My name is Jack, and we are sitting in the Seamans Church Institute in Newport, Rhode Island. We were founded in 1919 by a group of parishioners at Trinity Church. That's a local Episcopal church just up the street from us. And at that time they wanted to have a haven, as they called it then, for the enlisted sailors that came off the ships when they came ashore. And so that happened in 1919, and then as time changed, the waterfront certainly has changed. The Navy ships have moved out, and as the waterfront has changed, the board has continued to change our mission, but always keeping the maritime mission. And we started out with the sailors. When they left, we were working with the lobstermen and the fishermen on the waterfront, and that is a declining industry, not only here, but all across the country, as you probably know. In the summer, we see a lot of the transient boaters who are either coming up from the Caribbean on their way to Maine. In the fall, we see them on their way back down. And then in Newport, in the summer, if you were here in the summer, you would have seen all the luxury yachts that we have here. And they look great. But we also have to remember is they have crew, people working on them, that are no different than you or I or anybody else across this country, and they all have problems. Some bigger than others, some smaller than others, but they all have problems. So we're here as part of our maritime mission to assist them. In the 50s, the board formalized what they were already doing. They were, in addition to the maritime mission, we were doing work in the community. And in the 50s, they formalized that and said, okay, we really want to do that, but not give up the maritime mission. So we blend together here a maritime mission of helping people with a community mission of helping people. And we do it 365 days a year. The restaurant is truly part of the mission. It allows us, one, we have this beautiful building here in Newport on the waterfront. The restaurant brings people into the building. Now clearly in the summer there are more people coming through than at this time of the year. We're sitting doing this in October. But it just keeps some activity level in the building. It also allows us, if there is a need to, that we can feed somebody right there on the spot. You don't always have to tell somebody to go to one of the soup kitchens. Well, maybe they only serve breakfast today and there is no lunch, and maybe there is or is not a dinner. But if it's noontime and you're hungry, as opposed to just saying, can't help you, sit down and we'll make you a sandwich. So the restaurant, it allows us to accomplish some things that we normally wouldn't be. But what happens here is you have a mixture of people who work in the area coming in having lunch. You will have somebody who needs assistance, and that's the one thing I've learned in the 7 years I've been doing this, is that people who need help know where to go. I often wonder, what's it like to be on the other side of helping somebody? I mean, I firmly believed in the job I had, but it was always arguing about money and not worrying about delivering the service. So that was number one. Number two was I finally realized, gee, I'm doing a lot in nonprofit agencies in Providence, but not in my hometown. And one of my great avocations is sailing in the waterfront. So a friend of mine was doing a fundraiser here. Can you help? I came to the fundraiser. Probably had too many glasses of wine. Can happen on occasion. Used to happen on occasion. So I was talking to the then vice president, and I said, you know what, I'd really like to be on your board. So I invited myself. And about 2 years later, they asked me to come on the board. I was on the board for 7 years. I was retired from my job. And my predecessor resigned quickly. They came to me and asked if I would do it on an interim basis, since I was doing nothing, and I was sailing every single day. It's hard. Very, very hard. So they wanted me to interrupt my retirement of sailing, so I came over to do this on an interim basis, and that was 7 years ago. And I've got to tell you that you live in a community, my own personal experience, not everybody's, you live in a community all your life, you think you would know it. Well, I have learned more in the 7 years sitting here about our community than I would ever learn, given my past history here and then whatever my remaining history is. It is just phenomenal. There is another whole portion of the community, individuals, we're talking people here, who have a need daily, just the challenge of meeting the daily needs of getting food, of having the utilities remain on, getting a prescription for their child, having the rent paid. The homeless, who you experience today, needing a blanket, a shower, can I get my laundry done, can you feed me because I missed the morning soup kitchen, that type of thing. And it's ongoing. It doesn't know a season, it doesn't know a day of the week. It just happens 365 days a year for these folks. And we don't solve the problem. We absolutely do not. We put a Band-Aid on it. We can take care of the crisis, but we do not solve the problem, and nor are we capable of solving it. I mean, we as this one organization. But our job is to take care of the immediate need, and it is so cool. Without a doubt, it is the coolest thing in the world. Be nice to the person you see on the street. Really, be nice to them. You know, if somebody comes up and is, as the terrible phrase is used, is panhandling, that type of thing. If you're concerned that you're going to give them $1 or $5, whatever it is, and they're not going to use it for the breakfast that they're asking for, then don't be afraid to take them to breakfast. You know, it's going to take you 20 minutes of your day. It'll take $5 out of your pocket. Big deal. Don't go to Starbucks. Don't get your cappuccino for that day. It is cool to be able to work in your own community and to make a small difference. You know, you don't want to overstate it, because all we're doing is, and it goes back to my saying, is we're putting Band-Aids on a problem. The real heroes and heroines are the ones that work. I mean, we still all have to live, but the ones that do it and say, yep, I'm not making a lot of money, but I'll make do, my family will make do, and this type of thing, and they do it for the love of it. And those are the folks that I have the utmost respect for. Those are the heroes and heroines.